Welcome back. You are watching News Center. The data from political parties and bonds in cash during April 2019 and January 24 has revealed more granular details. As per data compiled by Association for Democratic Reforms, the Bharatiya Janata Party in cash electoral bonds worth over 6,060 crores. Out of this, worth 5,854 crores belong to the 1 crore rupee denomination. The BJP also is the top beneficiary of the electoral bond scheme. Today, the Supreme Court said that there is no manner of doubt that it had directed SBI for all electoral bond details in its February 15th order. It ordered the bank to disclose unique serial number details to the Election Commission. Top industry bodies have opposed the move and asked the Supreme Court to defer its order, asking for disclosure of unique serial codes. To take this forward, we are now joined with Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. Sanjay Hegde, how do you see this plea that has been raised by industry bodies today, saying that disclosure of details as to which company donated to which party somehow goes against the ease of doing business and is a retrospective step which will not be good for the business environment and business confidence in the country? How do you respond to that?
Well, ease of doing business, what kind of business? While I was arguing the matter for an intervener who had pointed out how these companies were showing these expenses in their balance sheets at places where people could not easily find them. I mentioned an instance where in the 1990s, Harshad Mehta allegedly. So this ease of business argument, I don't think particularly washes. Now, the second part is that they say that we had donated this money on condition of anonymity. Well, day in and day out, the anonymity of ordinary citizens is violated when each business keeps asking for an Aadhaar identification, and then they say, if you have nothing to hide, why don't you give the Aadhaar everywhere? It's the same business houses. For everything they need an Aadhaar, and they do not value their customers' anonymity. It's the same business houses who spam your telephone networks continually, saying that please take this loan, please this credit card is free. Data is traded freely between every business house. Now they think that anonymity is a virtue. Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. Hegde, the question that I'd like to ask you, this is an issue. The way political donations happen is an issue around the world. Mr. Krishnamurthy, the former CEC, also said that there is no clear answer and we need to work towards greater transparency when it comes to election funding. Now, all these political parties, which when they started donating from 2018 onwards, they did it as per the advice or the law of the land, so to say, at that point in time. Now, do you feel that at some point in time, the government, the courts will have to address this issue as to how political funding should happen?
Well, governments should address the issue. And the governments can only address the issue if they take along all parties on board and the Election Commission and come out with a formula. They can't by diktat say, we will do this, and they say, this is clean enough. Anything that they do is subject to review, to judicial review by the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court only reviewed this particular process of anonymity and said that this does not wash constitutionality. They struck it down. Nothing prevents the government from bringing in any other scheme which is more constitutional or which will pass constitutional muster. It's not the job of the courts to prescribe. Courts do not administer. They only audit for constitutionality.
All right. One more question, Mr. Hegde. Now that this plea has been filed by CI, ASSOCHAM, FICCI, and they're hoping that this whole process of disclosing who the money actually went to should be deferred. What is the real legal option that these companies now have, these industry bodies now have, now that the judgment in the case has already been delivered? And that's what the Supreme Court said, that notices were given to all. This was a hearing going on. you should have come then. So at this point, what is the option available before the industry bodies? What are the likely scenarios that we could see from the court?
Well, I think that the application has already been overtaken by time. Any order that they wanted could have only been passed today. Their application, though filed, had not even been numbered, had not even passed registry objections. So when their counsel stood up, the Chief Justice said, look, I can't make an exception for you. I have day in and day out told the bar and the junior bar especially that please come through the proper procedure. So today, with no orders having been passed, that application can only come up on the 21st. And on the 21st, by then, the data will already have been released by the SBI, because the SBI today has been told to make a full and candid disclosure. I don't think there is anything left in this application now.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hegde, for joining us, giving us your view on the electoral bond scheme and the plea raised by industry bodies for deferment of details regarding who they actually gave money to or donated